So when I was 14, I met a boy and we were together for about 8 months and I became pregnant. That was the first time he started beating me up, was when I was actually pregnant. He had kicked me in the back and broke my wrist and had done some other things to me. He used to call me a loser. He used to say nobody would ever want to be with me again. Nobody would ever want, if I ever wanted to be with a man again, I would have to put a paper bag over his head because he wouldn't want to look at the stretch marks. He wouldn't want to look at who I was. Then when Keith was born, he wasn't around. He wasn't there. He was cheating all the time, and I was only 15. And the biggest thing that started to happen was that he had another girlfriend with a whole entire other life, and that girlfriend became my best friend, knowing who I was, and basically almost put me into a breakdown. When Keith was 6 months old, the first thing that really told me I needed to get out of the relationship was when he had threatened to kill Keith. I had found pictures of Playboy magazines hidden underneath the mattress of his bed when I went to his house. So I got upset. Well, Keith was there with us and he held Keith over his head and he threatened to throw him out a window if I didn't get down on my knees and beg for his life. So there I was, 16 years old, 6-month-old child, begging for his life. So that was when I realized that it was time to try to break away and try to get away. On Keith's first birthday, I finally made that break. I told Gil that I no longer wanted to be with him, that our family was not a family, that I wanted more for my life and I wanted more for my son. And he broke my ribs, bruised my esophagus from choking me, and I ended up in the hospital. And that was the first time I ever said, my boyfriend beat me up. My mom wanted me to have a normal teenage life. She really pressured me to go out, to be with friends, to be with teenage friends. The problem was that I wasn't a teenager anymore. I was raising a child. I had gone through a 2.5-year abusive relationship. I quit school and started working, and by that time I was about 18, so I had a grade 10 education. And I just kind of felt like I had nothing to offer anybody. I kind of thought, what was wrong with me? Who wants to be with someone like me? I felt like my whole entire world was done. It was over. I'm 19 years old and I've got nothing. I have no education. I have a 4-year-old child that doesn't know his dad. My son started to show quite a bit of violence. He was in daycare and I was working, you know. I got a call, oh, your son bit, right? That was the beginning of it. First he was biting, then he was hitting, then he was punching, then he was kicking. I'm 19 years old. I don't know how to deal with this. How do I raise this child? Somebody told me, oh, well, you should go to the YMCA. They have this program and there's camp and there's these different things. And I'm like, how am I supposed to afford that? I have no money. So when I walked in and I saw this lady, I don't know what it was about the lady. I don't know what it was. All I knew is I felt comfortable. I don't know what happened. And I sat down and I broke down because all she said to me was, how can I help you today? And I cried and I told her my whole entire story. It changed who I was that day. All of a sudden it was okay to say, I'm 19 years old and I have a 4-year-old and I need help. So she set me up with not only resources from the YMCA, but she put me in the right direction for other people with other programs. I had the food bank. I was put into something called community kitchens, which the YMCA provided at the time. I got to meet people that were in the same boat that I was in. They were in the same situation. I was now learning how to cook healthy. I was learning how to cook for my child. I got the idea of going back to school and becoming something. That was the first time that I knew that my life could be absolutely better. So the YMCA put my son in camp and they paid for it. They had what's called Camp Thunderbird. He went to camp every year till he was 12 years old. And it was the one time where I did not have to worry about him hurting someone or fighting or anything, because he was outdoors and he was in nature, and these people understood him. Every time he came back, he was smiling, he was healthy, he was feeling good, and that made me feel good. But in the time that he was away, I got to work on myself more. When I was 22, I went back to school. I finished my grade 12. I started taking psychology, child psychology, adolescent psychology. I started working with children with behaviors. I started learning about my son with behaviors. Between that time of 19 and 22, my life could have gone completely south. It could have. I had wished that my son had been put up for adoption. I had wished that I had never gotten pregnant. I had wished that I wasn't even alive. I thought sometimes that if I died, my son would be better. That was my life. So when that woman set me up with everything that I got set up with, that turn right there was what made me be able to have the confidence to go back to school, what made me have the confidence to work with my son. On June 2nd, I got hired as an assistant director at the Citadel YMCA in St. Albert, and now I'm the director. I have come back to the place that helped me become a person that could do something with my world. Working for the YMCA to me is not a job, it's a career. It's like allowing me to now take all of the knowledge and everything that I've done and everything that I've worked with to now move forward and take all of that and now pass it back to the company that got me to start doing that to begin with.